Episode 33. I have Marilyn Flatt here from Assist2Sell. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
Good to be here.
Good.
Thank you.
I know we switched the days a little bit to this week.
Yep.
It is my birthday tomorrow also. So that was kind of like, it worked out great.
Yeah, my birthday week was crazy.
When's your birthday?
It was the 6th.
Oh, it was?
September.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
We have
Busy week though.
a huge busy week. Wasn't rodeo that week? Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
He's the 5th.
Yeah.
Darrow's is so.
My brother's was the 4th.
My sister's is the 9th. My husband's is the 10th. And last week, my son's is the 19th.
Oh gosh.
So it's
lots of
this month's wild
September's
for us.
crazy.
We're in that September, like, for the school things, you have to be hit the September 1st or something. And so we're all old for our class.
Yeah.
Terrible.
The people with kids in school, it's tough. There's lots going on.
So much. Okay. First question I always ask is, how long have you been in the industry?
I was licensed in February of 83.
83. You weren't even born yet, Darrow.
42 years.
Wow. Do you know the date?
It was, I don't know the exact date, mid-February, somewhere in there. I just remember it was February of 83.
Did you do both? Idaho, Washington?
I was licensed in Washington first. Back then, the state you resided in was where you got licensed first. Now you can do your Idaho or live in Washington, do your Idaho first, but back then you couldn't. You had so I waited a while before I got my Idaho license, probably maybe a year and a half, 2 years before I did my Idaho.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you from Clarkston or are you from Canada?
I am from Canada.
Ah, very cool. I love Canada.
I'm still a citizen.
Are you?
Out there, yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Never changed it, yeah.
Do you go visit?
No, there's no family,
family.
really. I mean, distant family back east, Nova Scotia area, second cousins, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But no, there's nobody back there to really go see anymore.
Oh, dang. So, we have to go up. My son does hockey. So we, this year, are going to, January, I'm pretty sure, is where we're going to have a tournament up there. So, how fun.
Fun.
So, well, I kind of want to know, like, you've had so many years experience, and what drew you into the business at the time?
I just wanted to do something, I guess, something different. I didn't know anything about real estate. My family had never owned a home. My mom and dad, we never owned a home when we were kids. We rented, and I never knew anything about real estate. But I saw it. I was working in the restaurants. I was waiting tables, cooking. Done that since I was 15 years old. And I saw an ad in the paper for this little brokerage, little real estate office. And I was married at the time, talked to my husband about it, and I thought, I don't know if I'd, because the first thing you think of with real estate is you have to be really good at math. Well, I can do math, but real estate is so much more than just math. But it certainly does help to be able to know how to add, subtract, and do all that.
What's in a square foot?
Exactly. How many acres are how many square feet are in an acre? That kind of thing. Yeah, you do have to know that. But I just saw that ad and I thought,
try it out.
So I went and talked with the broker, and it was a tiny office. His wife was the secretary. He was a broker. And there were 2 other gals in the office, and at that time, and that was it. And I studied, and so much different than it is now. Everything's online now, but back then when I decided to do it, and I drove to Spokane. I worked in the restaurant, so I worked during the day, and then in the evening I would leave here, drive to Spokane to go to class. And I would be in class like from 5 o'clock until 10 o'clock at night, and then drive home.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, once a week for, I think it was 10 weeks. And my daughter was like a year and a half old when I'm doing this.
My gosh.
So it was pretty interesting.
What dedication, though.
Yeah, and got through it and started just
And you've been
did
in
it. And
ever
it was
since?
just so, the market was so different then, you know, I mean, we were a recession and interest rates were crazy high, you know.
Yeah.
But the fun thing about that little office was one of the gals that I work with now, Teresa Kammer, is in my office. We work out of the Clarkson office, and she was licensed about a year and a half before I was. And we started out together, and our careers have gone through everything they've done. She owned her own brokerage for several years and whatnot, and then it just came back around, and now we're working together again.
Fun.
Yeah.
Well, at least you have someone in, that time of era that you were all in everything. You've seen it all.
And back, yeah. I was thinking about this interview and realizing, like, back then, I think there might have been 40, maybe 50, but probably closer to 40 agents. That's all the realtors that were here.
In the valley.
Wow. Yeah.
Now
really changed.
However many?
250, 240, something like that.
Wow. That's wild. I'm sure with you, too, to give, I don't know, advice. Do you give anybody that's maybe interested in starting in the business any advice? Yeah,
just plan for good and expect not
everything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Enjoy being self-employed. Enjoy going 6 months without a paycheck sometimes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it just doesn't matter what you do. You can't get something to come together, and you just have to be able to get through all of that. I most of my career, I was a single mom, and it was tough. It's scary, very scary.
Marilyn, that's wild.
But, I just dedicated to it, and you just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know any different. I don't think of it as me being different than anyone else, or I've sacrificed just like other people have, But when I think back about me personally, my career, and how my life has gone through all of this, it's... Yeah, I just wonder how you do it sometimes.
You're like a blank, oh my gosh.
It's like, yep, I did that. That was me.
From then to now, I'm sure there's more than one. But what has been the biggest change from when you started to now?
Technology, for sure.
Absolutely. Just every day there's something different now.
Yeah. I remember I was just there was 5 agents at the time that had pagers came out, because you had a pager before you had a cell phone. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And newspaper and
we didn't have, now everything's online, you can learn so much and research so much, and
Zillow.
Yeah. And now it's just, everything is just right there in front of us whatever we need, know.
Wow.
Like back when you're younger, you want to know something, you needed to get the dictionary out or get the encyclopedia out and look it up.
Oh, great. And I think, in the lending stuff, because how much paperwork is involved in these transactions.
Yeah, a lot.
People's files could be this thick. Just of documentation, signature, just
following the paper trail.
Yep.
There is a lot of paperwork. And even though now everything is electronic, seems like, our forms are online and there's e-sign, all of that. But somebody still needs to know how to fill all of that out and do things correctly for the clients. And
what if the power shuts down? It's just are we relying too much on technology now? We just had, when was that Microsoft thing? Our system went completely down. And so it's people are calling and you're like, I can't. My hands are tied.
Yeah. Can't do anything.
Do you still do paper stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. More comfortable?
Yeah, I'm kind of definitely old school. I mean, I do like to be face-to-face with my clients as much as I can. And, we just get in that habit of texting or email or whatever. But just every once in a while, it's just nice to,
Put a name to a face.
Yeah, go talk with them, meet face-to-face.
Yeah.
I like to do that when I'm doing contracts, because that's one thing about the DocuSign or e-signing, that they really are signing, and as quickly as you get it back, they're not reading everything. You try to explain everything ahead of time the best you can. But that's what's nice about having your clients at your desk, is you can go through, each section and explain it to them. I might not read it line for line, but at least in a nutshell, give them the gist of what is in there
section.
so that they know what they're initialing or signing and dating.
For sure.
They can kind of understand, and you can stop and ask questions or explain further.
Yeah. We give them an option, in ours where it's, if they did an online application, it'll automatically be like, you can come to the office and do in person. And, with all these out of town, like that's just what's, like, I don't know how you guys did it to where when people were out of town and how you faxed.
Yeah, fax was
everything.
A lot of what we did was faxing.
Golly.
Regular mail, lots of times, waited for contracts to get back. Waited lots of times for things to come back, regular mail contracts, or it was as fast as you could get it.
Wow.
It's just totally different. And one of the firms that I worked at, we had handwritten messages. This was pre-cell phone stuff. You had to go back to the office and check your little mail slot. Check your message box.
Oh, funny.
It wasn't up to the staff to call and tell you.
Yeah.
Who had called you while you were out, that type of thing. So a lot of running around, a lot of back and forth. And now, you get a phone call on your cell phone in the evening or the weekend. It's no big deal. But back then, you had your landline. So
the cord on the phone and the rotary.
Trying to do 3 things at once and hold on to a phone.
Have you seen those where they make, I don't know, the kids, like maybe my kids, if they were to get one of those phones and you tell them to type in, they'd have no clue on how to use them.
Nope.
Just oh my gosh.
It's really fun. I think that's one of the things I think about it, like all of the years that I have been in the business, is just really the changes are huge. It's completely different.
Imagine from, I don't know when Darryl got his first phone, but I got my first cell phone middle school. To now, and it's like we've been graduated now for how many years? 15? Is that how long we've been?
Probably.
I don't remember.
Closing in on it.
Oh, almost 15. To like just that year, what another 15 will look like.
Yeah.
Of flying cars and, flying houses. I don't even know.
Yeah. It's really hard to wrap your head around it sometimes, really.
Is there anything that you continue to do, as in style-wise, from back then to now?
Yeah, communication.
Yeah. Still.
Communication is
that's
key.
Number one.
It really is.
Yeah.
You've got to take care of your people. Got to return phone calls.
It's a huge step.
Got to answer texts. If people... I have my phone with me all the time, and I know that's... it's just what we do. I just do. I mean, if somebody texts me and asks a question or whatever, I answer. Why not?
Yeah. A lot of the time, I have my phone on all the time. And whether or not it's maybe on silent or not, but I know. I look at it.
Yeah.
Besides this, like this is probably like a big gap in my day where I don't look at my phone is when I'm on the podcast stuff. But other than that, and then there's like, oh, I missed you like 3 days ago. And I'm like, did you? Are you sure? The open house. I kind of want to get into that because I feel like I don't know if there was like a lull just because of COVID of like how open houses were. And now it's like starting to kind of be kind of back and thriving. And back then, like how did you promote, or how long of a time span did you have to promote open houses?
Usually the time span wasn't that long. Of course, we plan for that well ahead of time, getting the ad in the paper if they're advertising in the paper, which is still prevalent in our area. So much that is online, but you just coordinate the open house date and time with your client. And I think one of the reasons why they're coming back is we are through the COVID thing, but also our marketing time is a little bit longer, than it was in the past. So before you didn't even have to do an open house because there was offers stacked up
Put
on
the
it.
sign in the yard and you're getting calls every which way. Yeah.
So they kind of died off when that was, when that was our market. But
Not
now,
needed even. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I actually have clients that don't want open houses.
Really?
They don't
Even
want
in this
just strange.
market, they
Nope.
just want time, or
They just don't want people in their house. They want to know that if you're going to be looking in my house, I want you to make
serious.
that you're and qualified.
Yes, that does.
As you know, that is the number one thing that buyers need to do is go get your pre-approval or pre-qualifying done.
I say this to almost every podcast. Realtors are my 100% referral base. And I can't wait, for the day that I can, get someone and hand them over to someone, but
Sure.
When it comes to the open houses that I've had, a lot of the times the neighbors want to pop over and look, or people that are falling in love with the place and haven't even looked at their options.
Right.
And I definitely am noticing that now in the business. And I just feel like there's just been a huge roar with the open houses. And you're right. It's true. They are. What's the average day on market now here? 40 something?
Yeah, it's probably around that.
Yeah.
Seems it's actually it's quite low still, but I'm experiencing sometimes where you don't even have a showing right off the bat like you used to, I should have checked average days on the market before we talked about it.
I too, but
I haven't.
I think it's in that range.
This has been my meeting day. I haven't even been to the office yet.
Oh my gosh. I'm so busy. No. I know those days can you're talking to 18,000 people before you've even taken any nourishment, coffee or food, or I feel like that definitely has the flows.
Yep.
With the market, in terms of first-time home buyers, how deep of a conversation are you getting into with those people?
Well, normally, I haven't had a first-time home buyer for quite a while, but I will spend as much time as they need. I have had people come in my office and just sit down and ask questions, but again, the main thing that they need to do is go talk to the lender, because we can't keep up with, just like you as a lender can't keep up with all of our changes necessarily, and I don't know what the changes are in the financial world daily that could change. And I don't want to give them wrong information. I could talk about real estate all day long and feel very comfortable and confident that I'm giving them correct, good information. But they need to go do their part.
Their due diligence.
Yes. And find out there's so many loan programs available. I have a gal that used to live here in town. She's a traveling nurse and is in Montana now. And she texted me over the weekend, and we've got these long texts. We should have just talked on the phone. She's thinking about buying property in Montana, and there was just so much. She said, "Oh my gosh," because I'm so glad that I reached out and talked to you. But I never thought about sewer line inspections or get your home inspection and how do you deal with asbestos. Well, I'm not a professional with asbestos, but I could at least give her an intelligent enough answer to get her directed where she needs to go. But I enjoy that part of real estate. I like helping people and giving them good advice. I feel, as best I can. But I've always been the kind of person too, if I don't know the answer, I'm just not going to tell you something. I'm going to say, I don't know about that, but let me see what I can do to find out and help you with that, Or they can check on their own if they feel like they can or want to or need to. But there's nothing wrong with saying you don't know the answer to something.
Well, I don't think anybody, we didn't when we first bought our first house in 2017. No clue.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what loan program. Now that I'm in it, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I try to be, this is what the next steps are, just that step ahead. And if we run into this and run into that, but that's true. How many aspects, and then out of state too.
That's what I told her. I said, I am not licensed in Montana. She said, I wished you lived here and were licensed here and could come and help you. I said, well, if I was, I would, but I'm not. So, just get with someone that has some experience and can guide you. But she did, by the end of the conversation, she was making an appointment with the lender.
Oh, good. That's all.
on her day off. So yeah,
and that
get her started.
I think local. I think using people that are local is
it's so
huge.
good.
They know about the area. They know about maybe the different areas in town that have certain sewer. You know.
Yeah, if the realtor hasn't explained that to those folks, then the lender. I mean, and like they say, when we are all in the same community, you're going to see each other at the restaurants or at the grocery store. And, the reputation is very, very valuable,
Oh, yes.
doing a good job for people. And
absolutely. I feel like we've had this talk, me with my girlfriends or whatnot, but if someone was to, be out of town and like, oh, I could represent someone in Boise. I don't know much about what their taxes are. I don't know about much about, all that kind of stuff from the lending side, but like I could
find out.
Yeah. But I think using someone local, if you're moving into that area, I highly think it's well worth using them versus a robot online or,
Yeah, there was years ago some really horrible experiences with online lending. It's just there's not in it like we are here. I mean,
2008, just that in itself, and from what they have now for our regulations and our tests.
Oh yes.
Since then, it's just dumbfounding. Like it was like buying a car. You didn't have to really prove anything.
Nope.
And then how many houses were on the market? And, compared to nationwide, when it was 2008, what really felt like here? Like, did it, because, our area is so different than you would say, even Spokane.
Right.
Did it feel that national level hit us?
I don't feel it did. We've always just kind of been, I always, in talking about this area to me, and a lot of people I've had that I've talked with have said the same thing. We're just kind of protected here a little bit. And I think the reason why we haven't gone through those dramatic changes and swings in the market is because we've never grown really fast. I mean, our population hasn't changed a whole lot. We don't have these 200-300 home subdivisions that crashed, when the market went to heck. We didn't have builders that were hanging out in trouble necessarily because we just never had that much building going on, that much development. So we just, everybody just kind of hung on,
and
get through it,
dealt with the
together.
changes.
Yeah. Everybody's in the same boat,
Well, I always, anybody, they're like, oh, you're from Williston, you're from I call it the hole.
Yeah.
And it's like, we are in our own.
Yeah.
10 years, I would say, maybe is our, 10 years behind or whatnot. But is our population 13,000? What's our population here?
In Lewiston itself, I think it's right around 30.
Oh, is it?
I should know these things.
Darrow, do you know?
I know with Clarkston and the South.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I say 13?
Lewiston might be 38.
13,000.
38, yeah. So you were way off.
I'm just dyslexic. It's okay. I'm not good at estimating pasta to sauce ratio, so I'm not even going to guess what our place looks like. Oh, that's funny.
But we do draw from a lot of communities outside of the valley as well.
Yes.
Grangeville, all of the smaller towns around, they all come to Lewiston, a lot of them.
Prairie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because for all the Costco, Walmart, whatever, and just
from.
Just to get into town.
We did the 1 month shopping trip and maybe went to McDonald's. That's true. This was like the city. And we moved when fifth grade. Darren and I have been in school since I first moved here, so we were young. But I just, talking to my parents or my mom about when they bought and how much their interest rate was and how much their house was.
Yeah.
Is that something that you feel that housing pricing is reasonable?
I think we just have to realize, this is what I tell myself, is it is really what it is. And I don't know when it's going to stop. I mean, that's what real estate is about, is, investing in real estate is do it as soon as you can. As soon as you're of legal age or can qualify for a loan, buy something, get started. But the people that I really, the it's tough for everybody because everything is so expensive. Property taxes are high, interest rates are a little higher, although they're actually very compared to what they could be.
Better. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I feel bad for the younger people who want to buy and they just can't qualify.
Ugh.
And then you put on top of that, we don't really have the inventory. We really don't have enough homes for the people that want to buy. When these rates, if they do another cut in November or December, whichever, it's gonna stimulate the market, but they've got to have something to buy.
Exactly.
And there really isn't that much housing out there. And you think about all of the people who would, could, or would like to buy, or should buy.
Oh yeah.
And go find something.
Yeah.
It's tough. And then of course our senior market is tough. It's hard for those people that are on limited incomes, trying to
Social Security.
Yeah. So we've got, it's tough for the people in the middle of all of that, but you really start thinking about it when you get older. I'm closer to retirement than not. And you do start thinking about, okay, how is that? Yeah, how is that gonna all work?
I saw a funny thing that was like, when we were in first grade, we should have had money for a down payment by or something. It was something funny but I mean, I would love to be able to invest and, get, some investment properties or whatnot. Is that something that you thought about back in your younger years?
I really didn't think. I do have a rental and my daughter rents for me, and
oh, cool.
She's got, thankfully, it's a one-level house, but big enough to where I have a couple other people that rent there. They're all, they're friends. And,
cool.
And so that makes it nice. I feel better because she's not by herself, but it also is, someone paying rent, helping me out.
Yeah.
But I bought that house about 10 years ago. But
okay.
Payment is very, very affordable.
Sure.
But I'm glad I bought it. I got tired of her being in that rat race of, she's a dog girl. She's never been married and doesn't have any kids. And she's 43 years old, but it's
her baby.
Yeah, she wants her dogs, and she'd rent something. Well, you can't have the dog, or she could rent something and have the dog, and then it would go on the market and it'd sell, and she'd have to move, or the rent went up. And I just finally said, you know what?
No stability that way.
Yeah, I don't want to have to worry about her that way. She loves living in the area, and, so I just thought, well, it's been about 20 years ago I bought the first rental, and then sold that and put everything into the house that I have now.
Cool.
And it works out good. I feel way better. She takes care of the house, and she's got a good roof over her head, and she can have her dogs. And
you know where she's at.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. But I don't know, me personally, I don't think I would probably have bought rentals.
Yeah.
That's just me. Yeah. That's just me,
Sure. Really, that's just
it's a lot of responsibility and financially, and going through all of it, and especially with all of the changes that came into the rental market with COVID and everything. And I just thought, I'm okay with what I've got. It's good.
I feel like that's just shoved in our faces now. It seems like it's like, you have to do this, or why aren't you? And I mean, I think financially, if you can, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing if you have the ability to do some of your own fix-up, or if you want to just go that route. I mean, I know there are people that do, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. Do you feel it? I mean, I don't know. Is Airbnb and all that, is that like, are you seeing those kind of homes for sale?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I have had clients. I'm working with a client now that is only going to be living here 6 months of the year. And then 6 months she'll be in Florida, and has talked about wants to buy. Showed her property Thursday morning for quite a while. We looked at several homes. And that was one thing that she wanted to do, was Airbnb it when she was gone.
Got it.
And I think there's definitely a market for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like anytime we leave for hockey, or I'd rather maybe look in an Airbnb than a hotel.
Yeah, that's how my daughter is too. Her and I don't go very many times, but if we go to the Oregon coast, that's the first thing she does. I let her do all the looking, you know.
Yeah. We go on a big McCall trip with a group of friends, and we always try to get a nice house in McCall, and
everybody splits the cost.
yes.
And
Yes. It's funner. I think it's
it is fun. I don't mind it. I enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. A little homier.
Yeah.
On a vacation.
Yes. There's some cool places. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you, I don't know, have a niche or something that is like you would consider your expertise in any area in real estate? Like,
well,
I don't know, maybe certain clients or maybe certain landscape, or
I think I've just always been able to work with different age groups of people, in my opinion, well enough. But then when you're in the business as long as I have been, and there's a lot of realtors out there that are seasoned, that have been in the business for a long time. And I think you get that referral, repeat business, you get that base, but that can take you years and years and years to get built up. But I really enjoy working with seniors. I really do. I really do.
I feel like
I don't know if I relate more to them. I don't know, but I enjoy first-time home buyers. I mean,
anybody.
You just go do your job and take care of people and be honest with people, and treat them how you would want to be treated. That's been my biggest thing.
Huge. Oh, huge. I feel that because I in my area, they're either just reaching out to me or I'm like the third lender that they've reached out to. So it's like, I want to give what I can give. I'm not going to try to, make my shit don't stink, kind of thing. It's like, this is what I have, and this is it. And I'd love for you to work with me and like build, long lasting friendships, or, just someone that I can feel like I can click with.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know, I could talk to a rock. I don't really have any but I do feel like my older clients, I feel like they've been in it. This isn't their first time.
Right.
They know what to expect, kind of.
Well, yeah, and they can compare, and they know when they're getting treated well, and explaining things to them.
Yes. I think they're a little more, they kid a little bit more too. I feel like, this first time they're like sitting there shaking, like, oh my God, what's happening? And they see that booklet that they're going to sign. And then you deal with ones that are like, oh, this is our fourth house, okay, give me the pen.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah. Signing away. So I definitely feel that atmosphere shift when it's, they're either sitting there just nervous as hell heck and a little scared, and it is huge.
Well, that's
in some cases.
Yeah, it is. And because their fear level is so much different than what ours might have been, or what we think they're going through. But I remember telling someone once years ago that is one of the things about real estate. You're doing this, you kind of have to be a chameleon. You have to be genuine, but you do have to be able to know your audience and blend with all of those different personalities, and
which hat you tend to wear. Yes.
You can't just be you to the extreme that they're not comfortable.
Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah.
How I feel that. I had one guy, and I'm not an adventure outdoorsy girl, but I tend to also be kind of a, and he came in and he had shoe just like, in his lip. I'm like, I don't know.
That's pretty.
It's so cute. But it's just, the whole aspect, and especially in this area. This is a good example. I've been to like the Boys and Girls Club auction. Very, everyone dresses to the theme, wants to be elegant with the glitter and all that. And then I've seen people wearing like camo suits or jeans. It's just, we have it all here in terms of variety of styles and people.
Exactly. We really do have a blend of folks.
Isn't that funny?
Used to drive my dad crazy. Go to a nice restaurant and somebody'd have a baseball cap on backwards. You should even have a hat on in a restaurant, funny. Let alone backwards. Yeah.
Well, and speaking, you're a Jollymore, correct? Yeah, and your family have owned Jollymores?
My brother does, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, my brother does, yeah.
That's wild.
My nephew Aaron's the executive chef.
I know we know Aaron.
Yeah.
He's so great.
He is a good guy. Yep. Good brother.
Do you cook?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Bake.
I was going to say, I'm sure all the Jollymores in their bloodline have cooking, baking, and
my dad and stepmom.
Really?
My dad was a great cook.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And in Canada, when did you move?
We've been here. We moved down in 67. So I've been here for a long time. But I still remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they have any restaurants or anything up there?
Oh, yeah. There's.
Really?
Yeah. We didn't. Our family didn't.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Family. My dad was in the Canadian Army. And then when he was out of the Army, then he owned his own sporting goods store in Kamloops. That's where we lived before we moved. I was born in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And we moved to another smaller town and then Kamloops, and that's where we moved down from. But he had a fly tie. He's a fly tyer.
Aww.
Fly fishing. So he had all that in his store.
He has those the steady hands.
Beautiful stuff.
Oh, wow. Well, that's very cool. And I love Jollymores.
Yeah.
I was doing a little snooping on your Facebook and I was like, I didn't realize you were a Jollymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yep. We met there, Debbie Lee and some of us girls from the Clarkson office were getting ready for the Flavors of Downtown for Clarkson. So we had a little meeting there today before I came here to have a quick lunch and meet about everything we needed to do to get ready for that. So that would be fun. That's Fridays.
Oh, that's so fun. We went there last month. They did Italian night.
Yes, I was there.
Were you?
Yes,
so were we.
So good.
My husband and I's anniversary was that day. And so, of course, not a lot of places in town are open on Monday.
And they usually aren't either. They only do that for those theme dinners. One Monday a month. I was
like, wow, it was
just from 4 to 9. Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, it's very good.
And I'm like telling my husband we have to go back. And when Aaron, I met him a couple weekends ago, Groundwork was catering a wedding in Coeur d'Alene.
Oh, okay.
And Caitlin, who runs all of our stuff, asked Aaron for just another hand because she's done events and stuff, but nothing that I don't think that big and that far out of town. And so Aaron, of course, came in and
he's awesome.
Oh, it was so fun.
Just a good guy.
Absolute, down to earth.
Talent. Hey, gosh.
Well, we got done with all the wedding stuff. I did the makeup for the wedding, and then I poured beer at the reception. So why not?
Yeah, that's a fun job.
We got back to the Airbnb, and Aaron just started making us snacks.
Yeah.
I was like, instantly. Like, no question. He didn't even ask if we wanted snacks. He just started making them. I was like, oh, Aaron, you're so sweet.
I know, he's such a good guy.
So good. I'm glad I got to meet him, actually.
Yeah.
And,
he's good people.
Well, that's so cool to have like some family roots.
Yes.
Being here for how long you've been here.
Yeah.
Are you one of those that will move when you retire? Maybe.
Probably at least part of the time.
Winter.
Not quite figured it all out yet, but gets on your radar.
Sure.
Because
both my parents do it. Well, my mom lives in California all year long, but she'll come up and visit. My dad will, which I never expected. I'm from Ferdinand, Cottonwood area, and my dad, the mountain man that he is, winters in Arizona. And I'm like, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
I just am like dumbfounded. And so I don't know if it's just age or, like weather.
I think sometimes when you get to that retirement part of your life, you have the freedom to be able to do those things that you, obviously, when you're working, you can't. I mean, our job is a little bit better being self-employed. Yeah. And with technology, it makes it nice where we can finally vacation and do things that other people do.
So true.
Because back in the day, you couldn't.
How would you?
It's just very, very hard.
Golly.
It was just very hard.
Did COVID, how did that really feel like for you for working from home? Because you're
very strange.
You're
because
an office girl.
I am an office girl.
Ugh.
I always go to the office to work. I didn't realize how much I do work at home as well, because like, again, like you're checking email, you're checking texts, or you're texting clients or customers, whatever. Get on your iPad and check what's going on the market,
Yes.
and whatnot. And just phone calls, like just taking phone calls when you're home for lunch or whatever. You're just working, or in the evenings.
Yeah. Especially with a lot of the shift work around here too. I have a few people. I have one guy that's on paternity leave, and he's like, I'm free all day. And he works at SCL, and they get 12 weeks.
Nice.
Which I'm like, that my husband works at Idaho Forest Group, and he got 3 days, and that included me being in the hospital. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very generous, really.
So much.
That's important. Important for those dads to be with their kids too, like that. Like the moms usually always were,
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah, it's
businesses. Well, I mean, that's a good. You've been here enough to see so many businesses come in and leave and with like SCL and these bigger, Did you feel like there was a flux with people calling for houses with big companies coming in, or any change like that?
I haven't personally worked with too many people that are coming in for those jobs. I know Clearwater Paper was doing some hiring, and I know that they work a lot of times with relocation companies. At some point, the relocation company will move that person here or move them out.
Right.
And I have done relocation work before.
Have you?
I mean, yeah, you do the background check, and they
Oh,
they
wow.
do all of that. But it's been years ago, and then it kind of just went by the wayside. I mean, it just didn't seem like there was that many people coming in
here
or out necessarily. But I know that there is now with those hires. There's a few hires that are happening at Clearwater Paper.
Their big change, their buyout. But was that relocation? Was that something that you like looked into doing?
No, actually. I remember it was several years ago that I did that. It would probably been in the I'm going to say the early 90s.
Really?
And I know they reached out to me and told me what I think they tend, I don't know this for a fact, but it seems the agents, the realtors that I know that work with relocation company sometimes seems to be people that have been in the business for a while. So I don't know if they do their research on who they choose to work with. But at that time, I went ahead and did that. And, it's referral fee based. I mean, you pay referral fee to get that client, but it's business.
It's not something you think about.
Business you get,
in our little town. We have some big businesses for sure, but I don't think it's enough to.
Yeah, I don't think it would be. You wouldn't be able to concentrate only on that. No. There's not enough of it that happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Again,
we're
kind of
unique.
Little
area.
That's like in my career. I've done, of course, residential sales and land, and worked with the builder for 15, 16 years and did new construction, kind of at that time it was upper end new construction. Now probably only a little bit above our average sales price.
Okay.
Compared to what the market back then.
Oh yeah.
But nice homes. And I really enjoyed the new construction. I really did enjoy working
That's fun.
That type of home. I mean, just the clients, and that was really, he did spec houses, but he didn't do big developments. Smaller, one at a time, or maybe two houses going on at one time in the same neighborhood.
Got it.
And that was a really fun part of my career. But I've done commercial.
You've done it all. Is there anything you haven't done, or you've done it all?
Oh, I probably, as far as all of the
transaction.
Transaction wise, probably land and development. Commercial.
Luxury.
Yeah, some of the homes. at that time when I was working with the builder, those were
Sure.
upper end
Sure.
homes, you know. I mean, I think the most expensive one we had on the market was like close to 700.
Wow.
But that was several years ago.
Sure. Oh,
so
yeah,
they
now,
were,
now.
yeah, we see those pretty common now,
Oh,
but back
yes.
then they weren't.
Wild.
Mm-hmm.
When we first lived here, we lived in the split level.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when I think I remember going through houses with my mom when we were down here just looking, and I was like, didn't we already go through this house? Just that split level, same thing. And
This one's carpet's different, the paint's different, but it's the same.
the same wall. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. And so now with construction, you know, having, like, depends on which builder you pick, I guess, but there's so much options in terms of like layouts. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll have different layout ideas and all that.
Yeah, more customized, I guess, or
Yeah.
more thought put into the floor plans, I think.
Exactly.
Building, you know, a lot of one levels, of course, but people like the one level.
We went down to Nashville, you know, and going through, like, our Airbnb was 3 levels. The bar that we were at, 3 levels.
Yeah.
It's like they had everything squished and up.
Yeah.
And here we don't, you know, or, you know, maybe some of the normal hill, like those older, kind of have those bigger staircases, but just like something different.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite part of town or a favorite area in town
Oh,
in terms of build?
I don't know. I'm kind of like, I live downtown Clarkston in a nice area. It's just convenient. It's not that far from the office. So I'm kind of partial to that. I bet I went when I would graduate from Clarkston High School. So my house is just south of Clarkston High School.
Oh, fun.
And I went to school at Parkway when I was in elementary school because my family lived on Beachview Boulevard for several years. So we walked to school and whatnot, walked home at lunch sometimes even. We were close enough. But my daughter calls it the Leave It to Beaver neighborhood.
Aww.
Because they're all
just
kind of the style of house. But I like it,
That's
you know.
cute.
So, and I like it out by the Clarkston Country Club. I like that area as well.
Yeah.
Not really. I've lived in the Heights. I've lived in Asotin. I like Asotin.
I do. I like it. So my best friend lives on Chestnut. She bought her parents' place, and they're doing a huge renovation, and it's cool to see like what they're doing. They're just living in freaking construction land over there. But from when I first met her and we were friends, and their style is very farm. You know, that house, she's like, it was built in 1908 or something crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. So it's fun to see. I don't know, even it's just a water jump, you know, over, but just the difference between our little sections. And I include our town as Clarkston.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, I do too. It's just like our community. Yeah. I do too.
So,
I don't know. I've lived in the Heights, and now I'm all about convenience. So I'm partial. I'm all about not how fast I can get somewhere, but I have my route.
Yeah, I love that. Everything is at least 5 or 10 minutes, you know, drive from wherever you're at.
I know if I have to go anywhere out of my way, it's like, gosh, am I ever going to get there?
I was just in Sandpoint, you know, for that wedding. I did a wedding this weekend too, and from my sister-in-law's house to where the wedding was at, it was 46 minutes. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
People drive this every day.
Yeah. This is like halfway to Spokane.
I can't do that. Do you have a transaction that's, again, you probably have more than one. I can't just ask this. That's been maybe the most memorable, whether it was good or bad. Something that's maybe just stuck with you throughout these years.
Yeah, I've had more good than bad, but
good.
You know, we're in that business and bad stuff sometimes happens. So, yeah.
I feel like I just had a client that, you know, she put an offer in, she got accepted. Great. Everything was great. Appraisal came. And appraisal didn't come in value. Is that something you're seeing? Or noticing, or
I have heard about it. I haven't had it happen to me.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been very fortunate. in probably the last 2 years, I think I've only had 2 deals that have been financing. It's all been cash.
Yeah. Just.
In fact, I told a couple lenders, I haven't disappeared. I'm not using you. I'm not using anybody. I just got this little.
Just these people.
I got this little
they
thing
don't
going.
need it.
I just got this little thing going on where everybody has money all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's really true.
Yeah.
The one house was. I listed a really cute house in Pomeroy, right on Main Street. That was summer before last. Well, would have been last summer.
Okay.
That sold, and it didn't take too long to sell, but that was financed.
Wow.
That another realtor brought the offer on that. That was financing. There was one other one, and that was pretty much it.
That's great. Like, and just know, I always hear like, oh yeah, people from Boise are coming up here, or even going all the way to Coeur d'Alene, and I've had to where a couple people from California are coming up here, and they're selling their places where they're at, and they have the cash, because they've had the equity in it.
Yeah. I'm working with one right now from just outside of LA, but he graduated from Lapway High School.
Oh.
And he and his wife are retired. He's retired. She'll be retired by the end of the year, but she can work remotely a little bit, excuse me, and we'll go back and forth probably, I would imagine, for her job.
Yeah.
And until she's done working towards the end of the year. But they graduated from U of I, been in LA for years and years, was a contractor, built homes, and decided they wanted to come back, and we closed on that house, but that was cash deal.
Yeah.
We closed on that house on the 30th.
Oh, wow.
They closed on their house there yesterday.
Did they? Are they here now? No, not yet.
They're going to come up the first part of October. But
did they buy sight seen or sight unseen?
they actually drove up.
Oh,
looked
wow.
at one house.
That's it.
And it was a house I have listed.
Oh,
And
holy cow.
they drove 1,500 miles one way to look at one house. I had 3 or 4 other ones that we talked about, and I thought, like, these ones don't have an RV garage or a shop, but there's room to build one.
Yeah.
No.
That was it. Wow.
I saw it on my Facebook post. I shared it. Our office administrator does our Facebook, manages our social media, and I'm friends with this gal on Facebook.
Oh, fun.
And then she saw it on my page come up.
Yeah.
On my feed, yeah.
Oh,
She said, oh my gosh, that Marilyn has that listed. So they reached out to me, and
how fun.
And they came and looked at it, and that was the only house they looked at. Made an offer the next morning.
Golly.
I went to the office at 6:30, in fact, to get that offer written so that they could get on the road and get back home.
Shoot. The things you do.
The stuff we do.
The things you do.
That's okay.
That's wild. Well, that's so fun. Do you, besides, knowing kind of where your clients maybe have been or gone, who's your farthest client you've had to work with?
I worked with some people that were in Korea.
Wow. Military?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
He was there was a husband, wife, and I was working with her dad, helping her dad here in Clarkston sell his house and get him moving into another one. Gosh. And they bought it together. But they were, and I remember we had to FedEx stuff. This was quite a while ago, but we had to FedEx documents to Korea. Wow. So that's probably that would be the farthest away.
How fascinating. Or
Never met them.
Really? Yeah.
Everything was over the phone.
Yeah.
Allowing for the time change, obviously, and whatnot.
You might have to be in 3 a.m. It's their afternoon. You don't. Wow.
Had a transaction with someone that was in Alaska, and they were on a marine phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Military phone. You're like, someone's listening to this for sure. Oh, how fun.
Don't want to be deported.
Oh my gosh. How funny. I'm sure you've got stories that I could just bug you about all day.
Yeah. It's been an interesting career journey. But I do love it. I do like it. I never get up in the morning and think, oh, I gotta go to work, or I don't ever dread what I do. We have problems. We have but you have to be able to figure things out. And I think that's one of the things that I work, I do things on my own. I'm not the kind of person that if I don't understand something, that I just go to somebody to get an answer. I'm an investigator.
Figure it out
I
yourself.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always done that. Think outside the box a bit, just.
Well, even coming into this whole career and the way that you did.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about real
No.
estate. I knew nothing about any of it. No terminology, nothing.
Jeez.
I didn't know anything. I was a waitress and a cook.
Kind of sounds like me.
And I was 23 years old.
Wow. That's great. What if you hadn't have picked real estate? If something hadn't, where do you think you'd be in?
I would have been a nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been a nurse.
I was in the medical field, and I thought I was in it forever. And then COVID changed, and I had my daughter in COVID, and that, changed things.
That.
Yeah, and this job, this was brought to me, and so I kind of went into it blindly as well, and sure.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
I can work. I can talk to anybody. I can work from my phone. That is one thing I feel like too. Like I do a lot of desk stuff. I have to talk to a lot of people, but it has some of that secluded, computer work and computer, calculator stuff. But for the most part, you're out and about. You're socializing, and you are a part of the Willow Center.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm on the board of directors for the Willow Center and the executive committee.
Wow. How long have you been involved with that?
I've been involved with the Willow Center for probably getting me about 10 years. I've been on the board of directors and executive for probably 4 years, maybe 5. But was involved with Camp Aaron and the camp that they give, that they do every summer for grieving children.
Yeah. My niece.
It's great.
Oh yeah, my niece went through that. My brother passed away 10 years now, and they did stuff. They lived in Spokane, but they have something kind of like that up there too. And she went to camps every year. She did karate with them, and I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And to be involved, in your community in a way like that. And,
yeah, you have to give back, and it is a great organization. And I just really enjoy the people that are on the board. We've got great volunteers. It's all volunteer, and it's a good mix of different industries. And we are trying to find more people for our board of directors.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So
good to know.
Yeah. It's a great organization, but we do give back to the community. We volunteered. We volunteered at the roundup at the main concession.
Did you?
stand. Yeah, so
fun.
went up and did that last year, this year, But it's just great that way. You have to do that. You can't be in many industries, but I feel like in my industry, I think there's a lot of people that give back an awful lot and do a lot for the community. The realtors are very supportive of a lot of things because we all have our passion. We all have our stuff. Some of it is geared towards people that have kids that are in sports and they do the school thing and all that. And then there's people like me that go a different direction.
Sure.
But all of us together, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, especially if you want our community to be able to grow and be efficient and the changes, that are happening. It's like, it's always sitting back and complaining about things, and then you don't even put in your time to help change
to make it better.
Yeah.
That's something that I am really proud of is our industry as a whole. We really do give back to the community a lot.
Absolutely.
And add to our community as far as supporting local businesses and and there's a lot of other industries that do the same thing, different companies that are very supportive of different causes.
Oh yeah.
So where would we be without that?
Oh yeah. We were the brewery was in the Best of the West. And so I was there, and then my lending group was in there too. And so it was cool to any form of business that came up, you know, whichever category, if you were in pets or if you were in
Sure.
tires, you know, and just how many claps everybody got, whether you were nominated and or voted, you know, it's just, it was so cool to see everybody cheering for all these small businesses in our little quad area. And
yeah, for sure.
My hands hurt by the end of it just because I clapped so all these businesses that I knew of or ones I just didn't even know, and it was so fun to be able to
to just be part of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pretty powerful for sure.
Mara, I feel like I don't know, Darrow, you haven't flagged me yet.
This is 1 hour 2 minutes.
Well, that's probably it then.
I think
it's been an hour.
That's good.
Has it been? Oh.
Yeah.
It does fly by.
It really does. Again, I could chat with you for hours and make you tell me all the stories.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do that maybe without the microphone.
Yeah.
Just the one.
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Go.
Yeah. Well, Marilyn, thank you for coming on here. Do you have a little bit left in your cup?
I do.
We cheers at the end of every episode.
Okay.
So
here we go.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jenny.
Man, it does fly.
It does.
Yeah, 3:40. That's wild. It seriously is. It's fun and I can listen to you talk.
Well, it really does help to have those on. It makes you feel like you're the only people in
does. I feel like the air.
You kind of
hear the air, and I'm like, oh my god, it sounds so loud. But on here, on the video thing, it doesn't. Darrow does all this. Yeah, I don't even know it.
Magical wizard stuff.